I don't know how it is already July. I have a few changes to the agenda. If you will add to your consent agenda at 3E7, a travel request for 2 employees of Oxford University Transit to attend the MDOT Summit. It's a total of $994, but RTAP pays $784 of that, and the city only pays $21. So that's your consent addition at 3E7. If you will add at 8I, the first reading of an ordinance addressing hemp products. And if you will change the wording at 7F to considering change orders number 2 and number 3. That is all that I have. Ashley, is that?
Yes, ma'am, that was it.
That's it? All right, could I have a motion to adopt the agenda with those changes?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? A quick mayor's report. It is really hot. We have had some safety meetings with our departments this week, have had several folks that have suffered some heat events working in this heat. Our crews are starting earlier than normal and ending earlier than normal, but y'all bear with us. There may be some days that we have to leave some stuff behind just because of the heat. In other news, because it's so hot, the pool is rocking. So if you've not been to the new city pool, you have got to go check it out. It is fabulous. 4th of July, the event will be at M-Trade Park this year rather than at the high school where it has been in years past. The park opens at 7 p.m. and the fireworks will start at 9. You're going to want to go early because once the parking lots are full, OPD will close the entrances to M-Trade Park. Once the parking lots are full, you can watch it from your car, or you can take blankets and sit on the fields or stadium chairs, whatever you'd like to sit in. Overflow parking will be available at Pine Lake Church. There will be no parking on Old Sardis Road or on Pat Patterson Parkway. Good news, the concession stands will be open at 7 p.m. We had never had concession stands for the fireworks, so y'all go and take your family and enjoy. I will ask the board for permission to approve the minutes from the regular meeting on June 17th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request permission to approve the accounts for all city departments.
I move we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And I just realized that I left my sheet on my table of all of the appointments. So y'all bear with me for 1 second, or does Ashley, do you have it? Thank you. I'm sorry. All right. I will ask the board to authorize the appointment of the city clerk, who just came in clutch with the sheet that I left on my desk.
The
Did I
consent
skip
agenda.
one? Oh, we didn't vote on the consent agenda. We should probably do that first. All right, do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Motion to consider and accept the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now, would you authorize the appointment of Ashley Atkinson, our city clerk and finance director?
So moved.
All in favor? Any opposed? Ask you to authorize the appointment of Hollis Green as the chief operating officer.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Ooh, that was close. Authorize the appointment of Jeff McCutcheon as police chief.
So moved.
All in favor? Any opposed? Authorize the appointment of Joey Gardner as your fire chief.
So moved.
All in favor? Any opposed? Authorize the appointment of the municipal court officers, including the court clerk and the judge and the city prosecutors, both as required by Mississippi Code Section 21-3-3.
So moved.
Was there a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Authorize the appointment of John Crawley as our city engineer.
So moved.
Second.
Ooh, that was energetic. All in favor? Any opposed? Way to go, John. Authorize appointment of all city department heads.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Authorize the appointment of Pope Millette as city attorney.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Authorize the appointment of Jason Bailey as mayor pro tem.
So moved.
Can we secret ballot?
All in favor? Any opposed? Request approval of official bonds as required by Mississippi Code 25-1-19.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Authorize the reemployment of all current city employees.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to approve all current contracts that are in place.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to approve the annual report. The Municipal Reserve and Trust Fund is approved by the Municipal Reserve and Trust Fund Committee.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Authorize appointments to the Planning Commission.
So moved. They are.
They are. We have three reappointments, J.R. Rigby, Joseph Murphy, and Harry Alexander for reappointment, and Craig Brassfield and Chris Latimer as new members of the Planning Commission.
Move we approve. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Authorize appointments to the Courthouse Square Historic Preservation Commission. We have three reappointments of Jack Garner, Diane Scruggs, and Jimmy Mogridge.
Move we approve. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Authorize appointments to the Affordable Housing Commission, three to reappoint Brooke Worthy, Stuart Rutledge, and Tisha Sanders.
Move we approve.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Authorize appointments to the Pathway Commission, one new member, Charles Allen, one reappointment, Claude Gunter.
Move we approve.
All right,
Second.
I did that one.
You
Did
did?
I mess it up?
I think you missed historic preservation. You got
Oh, I did?
courthouse.
Okay, I'm sorry. Appoint Historic Preservation Commission. We have three reappointments, Jack Garner, Diane Scruggs, and Jimmy Mogridge.
So moved.
I didn't do Courthouse Squares. That's one I
You
didn't do.
did do courthouse square.
You did the names for.
Okay,
Already done Mogridge.
we
What
didn't do
hap-
courthouse
Okay.
square.
We're going to reappoint these people a couple of times. Y'all bear with us. Courthouse Square, two reappointments. Yeah, I didn't do this. Amanda Heineman and Kyle Stribling. One new appointment, Forrest Hinton.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? And then I'm going to back up and let Ed Maxwell, who I skipped right over, give us the annual report from Municipal Trust, Municipal Reserve and Trust. We're moving fast tonight, Ed.
I know, thank you. Rolled right by me. My name is Ed Maxwell. I'm a CPA here with Watkins, Ward, and Stafford, and for the past few years, we've prepared the annual accounting for the Municipal Reserve Trust Fund. So the report we prepared contains 5 schedules that I'll go through briefly and summarize tonight for everybody. And I'm going to start on page 4 of the report, which is our first schedule, and it's a summary of the accounting of the fund for the fiscal year ended March 31st, 2025. The fund for this past fiscal year generated total revenues of $1,826,000 and incurred expenses of $121,000. The net earnings at $1.7 million were reduced by last year's distribution of $1,066,000 to the city, and there was also an adjustment to the unrealized gains of $243,000. So the overall change in the fund balance for the fiscal year ended March 31st, 2025 was $881,616. The next schedule is a description of the financial condition of the fund. The composition of the fund was broken between cash, fixed income, and equity investments. Cash composed 7% of the overall fund balance at $2,667,000. The bond funds composed $20,271,000. And the equity positions rounded out the remaining 42% of the overall fund balance. The total fund balance at the end of the fiscal year was $40,056,357. The next schedule we prepare is an overall calculation of the return on the net assets of the fund. So as I described, the overall income earlier at $1.8 million and the expenses at $121,000. The total net return on assets were $1,948,000. That calculates to a 4.92% return on the overall fund balance for the past fiscal year. The fourth of the fifth schedule is a summary of the overall professional fees, which we described at $121,000. That was $6,440 of accounting fees, $10,000 of attorney fees, and $105,000 of investment advisor fees. And the final schedule is the calculation of the maximum allowed distribution, which is provided in the trust agreement. So the calculation is based on 3% of the overall rolling fund average balance for the previous 12 fiscal quarters. So that average of the trust equity balance was $37,587,000, and a 3% component of that allows the city a distribution to the general fund of $1,127,000. And just to summarize, over the past, since the fund's inception in 2013, the fund has distributed to the city general fund $10,973,000.
That's amazing. Wonderful. Anybody have any questions for Ed? All right, we have already voted to accept your proposal, so I thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right, Donna, request approval of the multimodal transit project, long numbers, agreement in the amount of $75,251 for the out facility renovation project.
Yep, for the multimodal funds, so $75,000. Permission for the mayor to sign the agreement.
Move we approve. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Request permission to advertise for requests for proposals for health and welfare benefit consulting services. Braxton?
All right, our goal is to ensure that we have the best benefits for our city employees. To accomplish this goal, we're looking at researching the possibility of going self-insured. To do that, we'd like to advertise to receive proposals from health and welfare benefit consulting companies.
So move.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Request permission to approve a parade assembly permit for the Country Club of Oxford to host fireworks on July 3rd.
So move.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request approval of a final plat for case 3229, Mike Hawford for Grove at Grand Oaks, Phase 6B, for property located at 1406 Pine Valley Lane.
Subject property is a little over 5 acres in Grove at Grand Oaks, PUD. Applicant is proposing 8 single-family detached lots, similar to the other phases of Grove at Grand Oaks, and the lots in this proposed subdivision are approximately half-acre. Proposed lots are consistent with the approved preliminary plat and the PUD regulating plan. Engineering provided comments related to access, water and sewer and stormwater in the staff report, and the Planning Commission recommended approval on the consent agenda at the June meeting with the 6 conditions in the staff report, and staff and Planning Commission recommend approval with the 5 conditions in your memo.
Move to approve.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, Robert. Request permission to advertise for Avent Park playground improvements. Mark?
Yes, ma'am. The Oxford Park Commission is recommending to advertise an RFP, a request for a proposal for the playground equipment for the older area in the Avent Park. So when you're walking through Avent Park, there's an area to the right and to the left. It's the older ages 5 to 12. When the proposal are received, the Oxford Park Commission and the executive director Seth will they'll review and select a company to then recommend to y'all, to this board, and we'll take a look at that. So we're just asking for permission to advertise the RFP.
All right.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Permission to renew the lease agreement with 1308 North Lamar for use of office space for Stronger Together. Mark?
Yes, ma'am. This is the monthly rent increased $200 from $2,000 to $2,200. We did get an appraisal in the market. The market rent appraisal is consistent with the increase in price. Recommend approval.
So moved.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to renew the lease agreement with Vault Farms for the use of the horse barn for the OPD mounted patrol unit.
This is for 6 stalls, a barn, and a riding area. The mounting unit has been leasing the Vault Farm since 2021. They haven't increased the price since 2021. This new lease would run from 2025 to 28, 3-year lease. They did increase the price, or recommend increase the price to $700 per month from $1,800 to $2,500, and we did get appraisal. The rent appraisal is consistent with this, with the increase in price as well.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Permission to purchase IPS meter and sensor technology from IPS Group, Inc. Mark?
Yes, this is just permission for a future purchase of the new smart meter heads for the existing on-street parking meters. In order to purchase this, to to purchase a compatible unit. We have to have the board approval for a sole source purchase. And in the memo, I outlined the qualifications for the sole source purchase. There's a letter from IPS, the company that we use. And this software allows to make future parking decisions.
So moved.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, consider bids for the renovation of City Hall.
So we had good bid results from City Hall, opened last Thursday, 11 a.m. There were 4 companies bid the project. We had 2 different timelines. We have a timeline to finish the project January 20th, and then another timeline May 1st. So we bid those 2 timelines. The lowest price was actually the shorter timeline, which worked out. Century Construction Group is the low bid, $1,412,000 for the project. The estimate was consistent with the design development budget that we had come up with. We do have funds available, and we recommend accepting the bid from Century Construction.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? At 7F, we had the addition of the second change order. So consider change order number 2 and number 3 from JP Corp. For the Development Services Building renovation.
So change order 2 I had in the packets that y'all had. Change order 3 is on each one of your station, everybody's desk. And we just got it about 30 minutes ago. They're for various additions. We're working quickly on development services. So there's a lot of things going on. It's a typical renovation. We're finding things that weren't on the original design that we've got to deal with. So we are recommending approval of change orders 2 and 3. Right now, the contract deadline is July 7th. This change order 3 adds an additional 7 days, which is July 14th. It's for an ADA bathroom, converting a bathroom that was previously there and making it ADA compliant. That's what change order 3 is. I'm happy to talk about any of the details of any of these change orders, but we do recommend approval.
So moved.
All in favor? Any opposed? Permission to advertise for bids for a temporary ice skating rink.
This for Holly Jolly Holiday that we do every year. It's a 40 by 80 ice skating rink that will go under pavilion. Just asking for permission to advertise for bids.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. All right, Rob, consider task order from Wagner Engineering for professional services associated with water and sewer rate analysis.
Good evening. We've had preliminary discussions with the mayor and staff, and we'll continue those discussions throughout the budgeting process this year, but about the need for Oxford Utilities to take a detailed look at our rates and do a full analysis on our water and sewer rates based on the growth within the city and the capacity needs and upcoming capital projects in the next 5 to 10 years that are going to be large scale projects that are needed. And so I'm asking for the board to consider a task order with Wagner Engineering for Bart Robinson to assist me with the rate analysis and with any, if we do move forward with a rate change or rate increase, with assistance to getting through the PSC process and approval. And so this will be just an hourly contract as needed. I'm doing all the heavy lifting, pulling all the information together to feed it into our new rate analysis software we're using with Waterworth, which is something we started a month or so ago. And so I'm in the process of doing all that, but Bart is sitting in on some of those meetings, and I'd like to use him as needed to just to get through the process. He did the last rate change, rate increase. He got it through the PSC. And I'd like to be able to lean on him if the board so wishes to get through that process if it's needed.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thanks, Rob.
Thanks.
John, consider the request for the installation of speed tables, and we have 2 different locations that I guess we consider separately, Chickasaw Road and Park Drive.
Yes, ma'am. So this was a process that started some time ago. We were approached by some citizens in Chickasaw and Park who wished to start the process of traffic calming. They went through all the traffic counts and speed studies and neighborhood petitions, and we've been through pathways meetings, and so the next step is here. So what I would present to you are two requests. We'll do them separately. One at Park Drive, which you should have a map in your packet showing the location of that and the location of 3 proposed speed tables in that area. We had a neighborhood petition that encompassed all of the adjacent properties that area touches. We had no opposition that I'm aware of. There may be a request or two to move them slightly from what they're shown on that map. That map is strictly sort of a blow up as an idea. We'll mark out the exact locations so everybody can look before we actually go out there and throw them in.
Well, and those are going to be based on site distance
Yes, ma'am.
and things like that, not
Yes,
on who
ma'am.
wants them in front of their house. Or,
Right, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yeah,
And because I know that road has some hills and curves and
That's
and
correct.
things that make it a
Yeah.
challenge on where to locate.
that's correct.
So have the residents of Park Drive met all of the requirements as far as hours traffic calming, as far as numbers of
Yes, ma'am.
people that have signed? You have to have what, over 80%?
80%, yes,
And
ma'am.
they exceeded that number?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, board, do you have any questions?
I do. I've got a couple questions on design. Are these concrete or?
No, sir,
the-
they,
the rubber?
right now, we're planning on them being asphalt. So there are 3 options. You can go concrete, you can go asphalt, or you can get the rubberized ones, which come in and you bolt them down into the street. All 3 of them have advantages, throwing out cost. Concrete is the least desirable because it presents a change in the environment. It looks totally different than asphalt.
Right.
The rubberized ones are good if you decide after you've put them in for a little while, you want to jerk them out. All you got to do is pull out a few bolts and fill in the holes. The asphalt is the most economical. It blends in with the street, is usually what we would go with in this instance, but that is at your discretion.
I mean, an advantage, you say that the concrete, I guess sticks out where you see it from a
does.
visual standpoint that it's there. Visually, that would help. I like the idea of the rubberized ones that if they need to be moved or relocated or that, you don't have the expense of redoing that.
That's correct.
No, I mean, our hesitation is always with speed bumps. I don't know of one location that we've put them in that the same people that asked for them didn't come back and say, this is a disaster, please pick them up.
Most
So,
of the
I mean,
rubberized
that's-
ones have yellow
Yeah,
on it.
A great example is they've got them around the high school now.
Yeah.
On the loop.
And I guess my last question is on design and height. Speed limit there is 25, correct? So that's what we're trying to hold the people to is
Right. So it's,
25. So I had to work on campus today. I came across the ones in front of Ford Center. And in the inbound lanes, you can do 22 across the speed table very comfortably. If you get over 25, it's not as comfortable. And so, I mean, I did one at 22 and one at 28. And the 22 was a blip in the road. 28, I could feel. So to me, that's what we're trying to do. That one is the perfect
yeah.
height, entrance angle, I guess length, and depending on what type of car you have when you go over. Some cars can do it faster than other, but you don't want it where it sends you in the air, but you also want it where you're
Right. You don't
some
want
of
to
the
have
other things we've heard about speed bumps is that because people slow down to ease over them, then they speed up. If you can keep that 20 to 22, 23, then you're not getting that slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up.
Yes.
That's just
So-
my comment on the
Yeah.
on the height and entrance
Yeah.
angle.
So dimension-wise, they would be very, very similar, if not identical, to those that you're talking about on University Avenue. Yes, sir. Big flat tops and the slants that go up and down.
Okay.
I would
So they wouldn't have to come, can y'all hear me?
rubberized person. Because we might do road work, we don't have to rebuild them, we can pull them.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Things of that nature that tend to happen, which are unexpected, allow us with the rubberized ones to move them, pull them, take them away if they deem to be
Yes, sir.
unwanted after they're put in. That's what I would prefer. And It's all under one agenda item. We making two motions as to park, one motion as
Yes,
part
we're
one.
going to consider
Chickasaw.
them separately, yeah.
And that would be my motion, that to accept the application for the Residence Park Drive to install traffic calming measures. And my motion would be to install rubberized speed humps.
Can y'all hear me?
We can.
Okay, good. Sorry. Hey, y'all. So I just want to make sure with those that Brian is proposing, just like Mark, I don't want it to be something where somebody has to stand still on Park or Chickasaw to go over. So with the rubber, would it be the same as those in front of St. John's?
In front of it, on Vivian.
You just get a little slope and still go over and not bottom out?
You can get them in that size, yes, ma'am.
So it's gonna be
And I think
confirmed,
that's
it's gonna
what
be a
Brian's
speed
motion-
table, not
I think
speed
that's
bump.
what Brian's
Yeah,
motion.
it's a speed table, not a speed.
That's
bump.
right.
Right, yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a
Okay, yeah,
motion to
okay,
install the speed table that Mary Martha is the kind that you were indicating you prefer, as Brian made in his motion, the rubberized speed table. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you.
Aye.
Okay, now let's look at Chickasaw.
Chickasaw, you should have the map there. We started Chickasaw actually back in 2023. They've, same thing as Park, gone through. The only thing I would bring to the board's attention is I was visited today by Ms. Jasmine Karlowski, and I also spoke with Mr. Max Hip, who owned property at 1007. Their name is on the petition. They requested that we remove their names from the petition. And the reason that's important is because that drops them below the 80% of neighborhood approval.
Well, if it drops them below what we require as an approval, then I think that changes, what our recommendation is, correct? When we took it to pathways and things, we took it under the guise
Yes.
of we
Yes.
had
Yes,
more
ma'am.
than 80% approval.
So
and-
we actually, when we first brought this, we actually sent them back the petition, and they had to actually get one more signature to meet that 80%. So removing one signature puts them right back in the boat that they were in to begin with.
They called today and want their name removed, or?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So basically, they're two signatures shy. They were.
No,
they-
it's one property. They own the property together. I think that's my understanding of 1007.
Okay.
So they would be one signature shy. Yes, sir.
We've got a bar, and if you can't meet the bar, we can't consider it. That's my opinion.
Okay, anybody else?
Do they start over, or do they?
That is your discretion. There's two options. You can flat out deny the request, or if you want to give them the chance to go back and try to get more signatures, that's the board's discretion.
Yeah, I don't know, I haven't looked at a map to see who has signed and what have you to know if that's an option or not, so.
Yeah. And also remember, these have been grandfathered in. There was an ordinance change not too long ago to remove the use of speed tables in totality as a traffic calming. So I don't know if you want to take that into account if you decide to table it or deny it. If they decide to come back, we'll have to look at something other than a speed table.
When did they first submit the petition?
This petition was received in December of last year, 2024, I think.
And
Now, I don't know when that petition was circulated. That's when I received the petition. We actually started traffic counts and stuff back in the fall of last year when we were approached.
So, to pass it tonight, they don't have the signatures that are required. So I guess that the question is it a denial to this request, or are we sending them back to the drawing board, right? I mean, and I don't really know what the drawing board is, because we've now removed that as an option
Correct,
for future requests.
correct.
Yeah, that's my thinking is, I don't know what we do from here is they failed to meet it, but they had it
Until today.
Yeah,
until today, so
I know.
I want to be able to allow them to see
Well,
if
you
they
can.
can get it. That's what I would do. I mean,
You can.
they've taken the steps and they're at 79%, I guess. I would say it, one signature equals 1%, whatever. So if they can get that, then I guess what we should do, what I would
Is
make a
table
motion
it.
is table it.
Table the speed tables
For 30 days,
till the next meeting?
until the first August meeting?
Yeah, table it till first August meeting. Then allow them approximately 30 days. And at that point in time, we can bring it back and see where we are.
Okay. All right, is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, John. Consider a request to perform extended concrete pours during July for the Edison at Colonnade Crossing.
Yes, ma'am. What they specifically want to do is start like at 3 a.m. in the mornings down at the Edison, which is down the hill off of Highway 30. It's hot this time of year. It's going to take them all day to pour one slab, so they want to start early so they can get it poured and finished before the heat of the day. I have received no complaints or any opposition to that.
All right.
No neighborhoods affected.
No, sir. Not as of right now. It's all under construction down there. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Consider the request for permission to work on Sundays in July and August from the primary contractor for Wellington Place.
Yes, they're building a new phase down there, and in order to be open by the fall semester, they want to work on Sundays between now and then so they can get finished. The only neighborhood that would be affected would be Wellington Place, which is all students and almost vacant now anyway.
Is it indoor or outdoor?
It would be a mixture of both. They're still doing some outdoor work on the buildings. It'll be both.
Haven't we approved that as long as there's no complaints?
Yep.
Yeah.
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Consider the request by Miller Valentine to work on the following Sundays for the Colonnade Self-Storage Facility located at 1669 Bainbridge Street, July 13th, July 20th, and July 27th.
Yeah, this is
More of the
just
same.
across the road from the Edison up there where they're building the indoor storage
It's really
facility.
hot and everybody wants to
That's right. Yes, ma'am.
get it knocked out.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Consider the request from Independent Roofing Systems to work on Sundays in July and August at the Oxford Conference Center.
Yeah, this is actually our project. We're having the roof done. And the idea is, again, to get finished before fall semester. There are some university teams that use that facility for like the rifle and all that stuff for practice. So we're trying to get that done for them.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consider the request for permission for the mayor to execute a contract documents for the South Lamar Boulevard Pedestrian Improvement Project. And I believe this is one of our MIMA
No, ma'am.
projects.
No, ma'am. This is the project to build a sidewalk from
Yeah.
Belk down to Ock, but it's not a MIMA.
It's not
project. No,
MIMA.
ma'am.
Okay.
And we have the funds, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, we approved the bids a couple
Yeah.
of meetings, but yes, sir, the funds are there.
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Public hearing regarding the proposed Highway 6 and Ricky D. Britt Drive intersection improvement project. John?
Yes, so MDOT wants us to hold a public hearing on this proposed project. This is the intersection of Ricky D. Britt Drive and Highway 6 West. There's an existing gas station there. Moore Brothers, there's the storage facility, a couple of houses. The property on the north is looking to be developed. And does everybody have a copy of this map that I put out in front of you? So this is a conceptual layout of what that intersection will look like. It's going to be a traffic signalized intersection. Wells Gate is off to your left, if you can picture Wells Gate, and the traffic signal at Thacker Loop is up off to your right, up the hill. So you would come in from Batesville and right past Wells Gate, you would come to a new traffic signal. The idea is this development that's going to go on the north is going to be a traffic generator, commercial, retail, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to produce a lot of traffic. There's going to be a lot of traffic in the future that's coming down Ricky D. Britt. Our long-term transportation plan eventually has Ricky D. Britt tying into the south and Old Taylor Road as part of a loop. So this all fits in with the city's long-term transportation plan. The project will be constructed at the developer's expense. The city would not fund it. But because it's MDOT right-of-way and in their jurisdiction, we have to obtain a permit from them to build it. And they have requested, since there's going to be access changes to certain properties in the vicinity, to hold a public hearing for comment. So that's what we're doing here tonight, to open the floor for anybody that wants to speak.
All right, is there anybody here that would like to speak? Okay, come on up. You can come on up to the podium. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Trevor Moore with Moore Brothers Auto Sales. With the proposed plan, we're going to lose our direct access from Oxford bound, or people headed from Oxford. Part of why we purchased that property was we had that cut through there, as we had used to have a lot just up the street at the Cannon Used Car Building, where they had to loop back and come back through, and it was a hassle for employees, for customers, and this proposal appears to gonna basically cut off part of what made this property so desirable for us. So I don't know what the solution is, but I see this for my business and my employees as it's not catastrophic, but I mean, it's not going to be a net positive by any means for us by having to direct traffic in off Ricky Britt Boulevard, where my building is not set up to accept traffic coming from that direction, nor is it the front. It would almost be like routing a person through a restaurant, bringing them in through the kitchen, so to speak. So I've got concerns about that. So
We will pass those along.
Certainly.
DMDOT, thank you. Thanks for coming.
John, do you know if they're making any changes to the Wells Gate crossover because of the U-turns that people are gonna have to make, as he indicates? Are they gonna extend that
Doesn't appear to.
left hand?
Unless it's something that comes up during MDOT's review of the project, which is ongoing, there's none planned as of right now. But I would cede to the design engineer if he's had any conversations to that effect.
Because you're gonna push,
Yeah.
Anybody that's not using that intersection at Ricky Britt that's going on around the loop, you're gonna push more traffic
Yes.
towards Wells Gate. I mean, I think the stoplight or the signalization is gonna help Wells Gate as far as them being able to get out of Wells Gate, because it'll slow that traffic down a little with stops, but just didn't know if there was any design on that to address his issue.
I'm John Granberry with Granberry and Associates, for the record. No, there are no plans to improve that crossover there at Wells Gate. Now, I can tell you that, like you said and alluded to, the gap time will be increased there because of the traffic signal, so it'll help Wells Gate, significantly getting in and out of Wells Gate. So, but there have not been any discussions with improving.
Well, it's an interesting position that we're in because MDOT has approved this design, but says hold a public meeting. And so here we are holding a public meeting on a plan that MDOT has already blessed. And so, they have already looked at that ingress and egress, I believe, coming from both directions, you know, to agree that this is the best strategy and safest way to manage traffic in that intersection. Is that fair?
So the final plans are in the process of being reviewed and approved. But yes, right now, what you've got is median crossovers, full access crossovers that do not meet their access management manual guidelines. Right now, they're the one at Moore Brothers and the one at the Links is closer than what they would allow. If you were starting over and building something anew, they would not allow those two median crossovers because they're unsafe due to the proximity to one another. So, you know, like you said, this is definitely an improvement. It's going to make the area safer.
Anybody else have anything for Mr. Granberry? All right. This gentleman raised his hand first, if you don't mind. Did you want to talk? Oh, sorry, I thought you raised your hand. No.
Yes, I'm Joe Marshall from, own Barnes Crossing Auto Group, and we have a Hyundai store in Batesville, and it's our plan to acquire some of this property, move that dealership to this community, and probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of 50, 60 employees, and also a huge revenue generator for the city. Our store in Tupelo is the 28th largest Hyundai store in the United States, and we think we can, and a lot of those customers are from Oxford. So I just wanted to state that we have an interest in it, and I think that MDOT has made this community or this road much safer than it is up to this point.
Currently.
And I just wanted to put my points in to encourage the board that it's going to, it's a car dealership is a very profitable, usually facility or business, and it does a lot for the local community as well. So there's not anybody that's walked into Barnes Crossing Hyundai that asked for a donation that hadn't got a donation in the last 15 years that I've been in Tupelo. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Brian Childs with MDOT. I just wanted to say we have not officially agreed to it. I mean, the concept and everything is great. We approve of that. We do still have to go through our commission to be able to move this crossover. So that's something that still has to be done once the final design is brought up. So, but we are in favor of it. We think it's going to make it safer. We do like lining that road up with Ricky Britt, and of course the city's.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about it making it safer, and it aligns with our long-term transportation plan. Progress is a pain, and it just, it's a double-edged sword. So thank you, Brian.
We just wanted this public meeting to make sure that
everybody's aware.
Everybody's on board and aware of it. So thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Does anybody else have anything to say? All right, well, this, there's nothing for the board to vote on. This is just a public hearing, and we thank those of you who came to speak, and we will move along. All right, we added at 8I, the first reading of an ordinance addressing hemp products, and our new DC is coming up to present that.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank y'all. This is kind of a late ad, so we apologize for that, but we are proposing a new ordinance to amend Chapter 74, Article 1, Section 74-14, which will be adding 74-17, 14. So I will go ahead and read it.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. 74-14. Purchase, possess, distribution, sale, or offering for sale any product derived from the hemp plant designed for human ingestion and/or consumption that is not approved by the United States Food and Drug Administration will be prohibited. Subsection A, no person shall purchase, possess, distribute, sell, or attempt to possess, purchase, distribute, or sell, or publicly display for sale any product derived from the hemp plant designed for human ingestion and/or consumption that is not approved by the United States Food and Drug Administration and in compliance with Mississippi Code 41-29-113. Subsection B, if the aforementioned substances shall be found in the possession of any person unless specifically excluded herein, the substances shall be confiscated by law enforcement officials. Subsection C, it shall not be an offense under subsection A above of this section if a person shall be acting at the direction of an authorized agent of the city to enforce or ensure compliance with this law, prohibiting the possession, purchase, distribution, or sale, or the attempt to possess, purchase, distribute, or sell, or publicly display for sale the aforementioned substances. Subsection D, this section shall not apply to any person who shall commit any act described in this section pursuant to the direction or prescription of a duly licensed physician or dentist authorized to direct or prescribe such act. Subsection C is kind of the penalties. Any person found to be guilty of violating this section shall be deemed guilty of a misdemeanor and shall be punished by a fine not to exceed $1,000 or in prison in the county jail not to exceed 6 months or both.
And this comes after a state law that reads the same and an opinion by the Attorney General reinforcing this law.
Correct.
And this is just a first reading. At our next meeting, we will have a second reading and public hearing on this ordinance. So you may have a question for Rusty? All right. Thank you, sir. All right. At this time, I will ask the board to consider a brief executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. The board will consider.